Hey there, YouTube. How are you? Good evening. It's Jack from the Gately Academy and all online real estate school here, and just starting our live broadcast this evening. Thank you so much for coming. I've been struggling a little bit with the instant chat, but I think I've mastered it now. Fortunately, hopefully, hopefully I've mastered that. I hope so. So thank you so much for coming. It's Thursday. I had a really good day at the real estate school today. How many photos did I get today? I think I got like four people sent me photos of them holding their license. I wonder if I can pick up one of those, show one of those later in the broadcast. But four people sent me photos. So if four people sent me photos, I know like, only a handful of people actually send the photo. A lot of people pass without sending me a photo, but so you get four in one day. That means, probably you had a lot more people pass on any given day. Um, so that was really, really good. I had this thing this morning with one of my students who there was some miscommunication about how to get a certificate, and plus the Monday holiday where there was no mail service. And so his exam was this morning at 8 o'clock. Um, and he didn't have a certificate. Without it, he can't take the exam. So I actually met him at the train station in downtown Boston, across from my office. Actually, gave him the certificate. That was this morning at 6:30, and several hours later, he sent me a picture of him outside the exam center with his license in his hand. So all is well, and congratulations, Jeff, on passing the exam today. Way to go! Glad it all worked out. A little stressful, but way to make it happen, and keep focused on the exam. So if you are joining us this evening, that would be awesome. I'd love to see you chat me up there in the corner of the YouTube stream, because I'm pretty sure that now I can see it on my end there. Actually, since no one's quite chatted yet, I might just go check that out myself. It says, see, I can pull up my own live stream, which is kind of cool, and yeah, pull up my own live stream and comment on my own live stream. That would be pretty cool. Let's give that a whirl. I'm gonna say hello to myself. No, that's not the video. I want to watch that video. There we go. Let's see. Watch this. I'm gonna say hello to myself. Come on now. Hey, there it showed up. There it is. That's pretty cool. And I'll say hi back. And hi back. All right, good. So at least the chat works. And if you want to chat something in, please do that. Don't hesitate. I'd love to ask or answer your questions about exam prep if you have any. Although I'm not sure we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be asking questions today, because we had so many people in the last couple of days that have taken the exam. And next week, there are no exam slots in Massachusetts for salespersons. There are, I believe, exam slots for brokers. I'm not sure why, but there are supposed to be no broker slots next week either. But I was speaking with one of our broker students the other day, and she got an exam slot for next week, which was kind of weird. And so I have actually an email into the exam center to kind of figure all that out. What I want to cover for you, unless you folks have any questions that you want to chat in here, what I want to cover with you is an escrow issue and how it all works with escrow, and when you have deposits. So I'm going to just pull up my screen if I can here very quickly. Let's see if I can bring this up on my screen here. Pull up my screen for you. And let's see, share screen. There we go. Share application window. Oh, perfect. Look at that. I like that. That sounds good. And so let's just kind of walk through for you what you might take in on a basic house, for instance, in Massachusetts. So this is a Massachusetts frame of reference. Let's just say it's a $350,000 sale. These numbers will be somewhat variable based upon the sales price and local custom and that type of thing. But usually at the offer, you'll take in about $1,000 deposit. This deposit is typically deliverable upon acceptance of the offer. In most offer sheets, there's a checkbox where you can say the deposit is enclosed or the deposit will be delivered upon acceptance. I almost always check that second box, delivered upon acceptance. So upon acceptance of the offer, you get $1,000 check, which goes into the agency's escrow, or what in many other states is called the trust account. Later on, when the purchase and sale agreement is done, say like 2.5, 3 weeks later, sometimes less, there'll be some other additional amount. This amount will be defined in the offer and will be due upon signing the purchase and sale agreement. So let's just say for your typical house in Plymouth, Massachusetts, $10,000 in escrow. So in most cases, the vast majority of cases, the escrow agent will be the list agency, In most cases, the escrow agent will be the list agency. It could be the attorney for the seller. That is also possible. And I think when this number gets much bigger, especially in commercial real estate, very often it is the attorney for the seller. But in typical kind of regular old house, this is a normal sales price for Plymouth. $10,000, it's almost always the list agency that serves as the escrow agent. They will be named, by the way, as the escrow agent in the purchase and sales agreement. So on this house here, let's say that we have an overall commission of 5%. So let's go here, 350,000 times 0.05. That's $17,500 in overall sales commission, or what we would call the fee. A fee is the appropriate phrase. Commission is kind of slang. The appropriate phrase is fee. So the gross fee is $17,500. Now, this is going to be split, assuming there are two agencies, one representing the buyer and one representing the seller. In most cases, this split will be equal. In most cases, it will be equal. Not always. It is possible, for instance, that the list agency gets 3% and the buyer agency gets 2%. That is also possible. But let's just assume it's split 50-50. So we have a gross of $87.50 for the buyer agency and $87.50 for the list agency. So this comes up with a little bit of an issue here, because on the day of closing, in the escrow account, we only have 10 grand. So what's going to happen here? And the list agency is going to direct the closing attorney. First off, the buyer's agency is going to send an invoice to the list agency. They're going to send over an invoice. And actually, I just got a call from one of my broker students about this. She's just launched her broker agency, her new agency, and she's just texting me about this today. Buyer agency is going to send over an invoice to the list agency. They should also send a W-9 over there with their tax ID number over to the list agency. The list agency will then direct the closing attorney. They're going to actually send some directions to the closing attorney. For instance, hey, there's $17,500 due to the real estate agencies for the fee. We currently have $10,000 in escrow. Consequently, from the proceeds, we're obviously going to need an additional $7,500, right? We still have an additional $75,000 that is outstanding. You see, once the deal is closed, not a moment before, but once it's closed, the $10,000 that you have in escrow can be directed toward the fee. It would be highly likely to give the buyer agency $87.50 in a check from the escrow agency. And then After that, obviously, the $10,000 minus 8750, we only have $1,250 left in the escrow account after that. Consequently, out of the proceeds, you have to direct the closing attorney to give the listing agency another $7,500. So this will be an email, and usually you want to CC the both attorneys or all the attorneys that exist in the transaction. Sometimes there's one, sometimes there's three, but you want to, CC all of them. And also in your e-cover letter on the email, plus in the invoice itself, say specifically that another $7,500 in escrow in proceeds has to be made out to the list agency. Very, very important. You can do this either way. You can have the buyer agency get that check from the proceeds, or you could have the seller agency get the check from the proceeds. It doesn't really matter how you kind of stack that up. Either way, the accounting is the same. Here's the important part, and you should always kind of remember this, is remember that money in the escrow, that 10 grand, which is going to cover in part the fee. It is not a fee in any way, shape, or form until the deal is actually closed. Not at the closing. No, not at the closing, when it's closed. So just a word of warning, especially for you guys that are going to be out there becoming your own broker, and you're going to be kind of where the buck stops in the future. Don't give out the commission check to the other agency until it's closed. And I mean closed, on record, as we call it here in Massachusetts. Not that it's going to close later today or it's going to close tomorrow, or no. Wait for the deal to close before you disperse money from the escrow account. All right, so I'm going to go see if there was anybody had a live streaming comment here. Apparently not. So for tonight, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again. We're going to do live streaming tomorrow at 6 o'clock. That'll be Friday at 6. Have a great night, and let's go find off the off button here. Where do you think that is? Just kind of getting you. Oh, there it is. Kind of getting used to the whole interactive thingy here. All right.